Hey guys, it's been a while since I've covered a Forge video, but I wanted to put one out. This is going to act as a second part to my original RPG video where I covered 40 mods. All of these mods can be found in the description below, and will be based around Forge for Minecraft 1.16.5. If you haven't seen my previous video, stick around until the end of the video, as I'll be linking to it from there. When I did my original video, the Twilight Forest wasn't yet available. It adds a new dimension which can be accessed through a custom-made portal. Inside, you'll find a whole new world to explore, filled with different mobs and loot compared to what you'd normally expect. There's a lot of progression to this mod too, as you'll go and fight different bosses, working your way through the forest. Goblin Traders add small goblins to your world, which you can find spawning in caves in the overworld and nether. They're a bit similar to the Wandering Trader, with there being two different types depending on the dimension they're spawning in, and they'll also offer some different trades. Doggy Talents makes traveling throughout your world with a wolf companion a lot more interesting. Their whole system is overhauled so that wolves can now actually learn different talents, like being able to catch fish, warn you of nearby creepers, or also be ridden. You can also add a trackable collar to your dog, throw them a bone, and change their breed using the texture index. If you don't want to use End Remastered but still want to overhaul Strongholds, then try out Young's Better Strongholds. The design of Strongholds is changed massively, so that there are different styles of rooms to explore. They definitely look a lot more interesting than the Strongholds provided by the vanilla game. Another mod which adds new locations to your world is Dungeons Plus. It adds 7 dungeons to your world, which includes the likes of the Tower, Warped Garden, and End Ruins. In these dungeons, you'll often find creatures like husks and strays guarding their loot, but if you do make it inside, you'll be rewarded nicely and also receive maps to other nearby dungeons. Bed benefits might just encourage you to sleep a little more. With the mod installed, it can be set so that sleeping heals you a configurable amount, while also curing any negative potion effects. More villagers will add some new professions to villagers. You can now find the oceanographer, netherologist, forester, endologist, engineer, florist, and hunter. You'll find some of them naturally spawning in villages, and you'll get access to lots of new trades, which might involve redstone, end items, aquatic items, and more. Small ships will massively improve on boats in Minecraft. It adds some new types of boats, like the rowing boat, cog, galley, and brig. They're each quite different, as one can even hold up to 15 passengers, and their speed, maneuverability, and storage size is also different between them. The ships have their own sails, which can move up or down to control the movement and speed of a ship. Rare ice causes you to occasionally stumble upon loot which is buried in ice, like they're from adventures long ago. If you break the ice, then you'll be able to retrieve the items, and you can also place some yourself. Dungeons gear adds most of the equipment that you might know of from Minecraft dungeons, including weapons, armor, artifacts, and enchantments. To obtain the items, you can often find them spawning in chests within your world, or they'll appear on the trading list of some villagers. I think we all wish we could wear an elytra with a chest plate. Thanks to this mod, you can combine both a chest item and your elytra so that they act as a single item, giving you back any armor stats you might be missing. This mod also works with modded chest items. Somehow, I didn't mention Mowzie's mobs in the previous video. It's a mod which adds some new creatures to your world, with some being bosses. You'll find the likes of the Ferris Rotnot, Barraco, Frostmaw, and the Naga. A lot of these creatures have unique animations, modeling, and texturing too, so they look great in-game. Illagers Plus expands Illagers, adding 9 new mobs to your world, such as archers, miners, hoarders, and more. There's even an Illager King, who acts as a mini-boss. They can appear in both raids, as well as some new structures which the mod spawns. You'll also find Illager-themed towers, forts, and mines. With the added difficulty, you can use the Illager's Bane enchantment, which deals additional damage to these enemies. The random loot mod can be used to add some more variation to tools and weapons in your world. Items will now have random amounts of attack speed and attack damage, as well as other abilities. Your tools now have levels too, so that they can get better the longer you use them, with there also being custom textures. Hostile villages will allow new types of villages to spawn in your world. Instead of being safe and filled with traders, you can now find villages which have been overrun by different creatures, like witches, spiders, skeletons, and more. You can determine which hostile creatures can spawn, as well as the chances for regular villages to show up. Healing Campfire will allow you to regenerate health when you're near a campfire, and it works for both the player and for passive mobs. You can configure the healing radius, the level of regeneration, and more. Stables starts by adding a new structure which you'll occasionally find in the Plains biome, which is a barn, and it has a few different variations. Inside you'll find horses as well as a villager who is a stable master. You can trade with them to obtain horse-related items like saddles, leads, horse armor, and more. Regrowth makes quite a few mechanical changes to Minecraft, with the name coming from the fact that animals will eat plants, heal, and promote regrowth. But there's lots of other changes, like to villagers, which will now place down lighting, repair potholes, cut the grass, and more, whereas non-villagers will eat plants, fertilize blocks, and knock over torches. Medieval Craft has been updated to the latest version of Forge and really helps to turn Minecraft into a medieval-themed game, especially with the addition of lots of new sets of armor and weapons, with the Excalibur being the most powerful sword, which you can find spawning naturally in your world. Some of the new structures you'll find include magic towers, castles, and Roman outposts, with them being filled with new mobs too. To come across more random structures, you can use the Forge port of most structures. You'll come across some new locations like jungle pyramids, villager markets, pirate ships, barns, and more. A lot of these structures contain some loot to find, and you'll come across different mobs too, some which might be passive and some which might be hostile. Happy Trails will reward you for building paths and roads in Minecraft. When you're on blocks like paths and bricks, you'll have increased movement speed. I think this is great for an RPG-type setup as it encourages you to build between locations in your world. Camels will add more life to any desert biomes that you come across. They're a passive creature and can be tamed and ridden. Their movement speed is slower, but they have a higher strength and health. There's different variants to camels, and you can equip them with carpets to give them an interesting design, as well as chests to carry items. Any chested camels will form a caravan and follow you around. I mentioned Traveler's Backpack in the previous video, but there's also RPG backpacks. It adds multiple tiers of backpacks and pouches, allowing you to carry more items around. The largest is a Legendary Backpack, which contains 135 slots, and it's immune to fire damage. These backpacks will sit in your inventory instead of the player's back. The Castle in the Sky is a huge structure which you'll obviously find spawning in the sky. You can locate the structure by using a levitation stone, which will guide you to the castle. The area itself is huge, offering lots of opportunities when it comes to building. But below the surface, you'll find a large dungeon which has some puzzles and mobs which you'll need to beat. Once you find the levitation crystal, you can ground it so you conquer the castle, which will allow you to break blocks. That covers this list of mods. If you haven't already, make sure to check out the previous video I did, which should be on the screen right now. Make sure to subscribe too so that you know when I put out more videos.